everyone, welcome to Studio Sunday with Robyn and Terry. I hope everyone enjoyed their extra hour of sleep this morning. You'll pay for it tonight, but enjoy it today. Anyway, first up, we attended Comic Indie Con yesterday here in Houston. It's a one-day show that was specifically geared towards independent comic book artists, and it was so great to see everybody's stuff. They had some really interesting stuff, and the attendees seemed very open and excited about everyone's books, which I was happy to see.
Yeah.
So if you're in Houston next year about this time, check it out, Comic Indie Con. Anyway, 5 years, number 5 will be in the stores on Wednesday, so pick up your copy then. And on a note that doesn't have anything to do with comics, Tuesday is Election Day. Just so you know, this is very near and dear to my heart. Only 58% of eligible voters voted in the 2016 presidential election. Only 58% of the people, which means half of the people on your block made really important decisions about your future for you if you didn't vote. So everybody get out and vote on Tuesday. If you're not registered, get registered. You can do it online. You can do it in person. It's super easy to do. And vote. It's the only way, absolutely the only way to elicit change in your city, state, or country. So keep that in mind and please go vote. No matter what your preferences are, who you like, who you hate, make it known. The only way to do that is to cast your ballot. Okay, enough of that. On to what the readers want to know. So your first question, Terry. Terry,
Hi.
how's it going?
It's good.
This is a question from a reader that you met at New York Comic Con. It was a pleasure to meet you at New York Comic Con this year. Looking at your original art, I was startled to see that you letter directly on the page. Why don't you letter on the computer?
Well, that's a good question. I letter on the page because that's how that's the kind of art that I admired growing up. I admired the old cartooning where they actually, just like the comic strips, they would just letter right on the paper. And then when I saw comic strip art from the 60s, 50s and 60s, then they were doing the same thing. So it's fun, and when you're finished with a page, spoilers, so I'll do it upside down. When you're finished with a page, you have your art. The story is right there on the page. But the trick is that, say I want to change a word, I have to get out my Avery temporary labels, and then I cut a little patch, which I'm about to do over here to change a word. Just take this, just like, in romper room kindergarten class, put this on here, re-letter it. I mean, come on, that's fun. How fun is that? It's really like, I don't know. I had a in the 90s, everybody was discovering computer fonts, and I had a chance to make my own computer font, and I just chose not to do it. I just like working on it myself, and I also use the lettering to be part of the art. It can be expressive. The letters, I'll mess with the lettering, like Little Nemo or Pogo or something like that, where the letters become very expressive and emotive. And this gives me the option to do that. It's a lot more fun than just squiggling a mouse. So that's why. I do it for me, actually, because I enjoy doing it. And I like the way it looks when I finish a page.
Well, do you think it would be quicker if you did it on the computer?
Yes, it is quicker to do it on a computer. So yeah, it's quicker, it's easier, but and they've got it to where it looks pretty good now. I mean, it doesn't look too mechanical, but you can always tell when it's computer versus hand done. The trick with hand did, is that it needs to be well done. Otherwise, it makes your art look amateurish. So it's something that you have to figure out. And I learned how to use one of these, the thing that you put on the paper and you move it back and forth, and it makes all those parallel blue lines. For about 100 years, I didn't know how to use this, and then finally one day I just picked it up and messed with it till I figured it out.
What is that called?
It's called the Ames Lettering Guide. and it's about as old school as you can get. I mean, you could probably get one of these in 1901. So when I got it, I got two of them, a backup in case this one wore out after 3 months. This is the original one. I've lettered all my comics with this one. It never wore out. I mean, that's the definition of a good tool, right? So sometimes the basics are the best. It's just a piece of plastic, but it does a great job. And that's how everything has been lettered in my books.
Okay.
Kind of like archaeology. I mean, it's just so old school.
And you don't have any plans of ever doing computer lettering?
I don't. What I will do sometimes on the computer is I will, if I have, you'll notice especially in 5 years, there have been some places where I've used computer lettering to do long bits of narration, voiceover, kind of thing. I think it's appropriate for that because there's not a lot of cartooning emotive things going on with lettering. It's just tell a story. It's prose. So for that, I use the computer. But again, I'm making a creative choice about what it looks like and the effect I want on the page. But usually when it's somebody talking, it's voices and stuff, then I use the lettering to be part of the character. If you've read my books, you've noticed that some lettering boxes are square, some are round, depending on what gender the person wants to speak as. So I just feel like it's all part of the characterization. It's to me, it's a very organic way to work. Once you pull the computer in, you've lost the organic properties of the work. That's kind of heady stuff, but I do kind of think that way.
Okay, so that's everything you've ever wanted to know about Terry's lettering.
Yeah, and I do it with that.
Okay, so this is an interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
What is the favorite book that you have on your bookshelf?
Oh, beyond a doubt. Should I get it?
No?
It's a little book of science fiction short stories called Beyond Reality, and there's like 7 stories in there. Each one is a little short story about time. And this is collecting sci-fi stories from the 40s to the 60s. And there's one story in there that I think is the greatest story ever written. It's 4 pages long. It's called The Man Who Never Grew Young by Fritz Lieber. And I think it was written in the 40s. What a great imagination for 1940s. So I think that's the best thing ever written. And I have this little, like a book club copy of this anthology. It's something that was printed once and then never again. And if there was a fire, I would grab that book. That's the book I would want to save. Because I can find copies of everything else, but this one, long gone. So glad I have it. So I'm so tempted to show it to you. It's right over there, but I have to get up and get around the table.
Okay, well, do you have a favorite graphic novel or art book?
Oh, yes. I love my Alphonse Mucha books, obviously, as you can tell, my fondness for Art Nouveau. I love Art Nouveau. I have a beautiful book on Gil Elfgren, the good girl artist from the 50s and the 40s. That's beautiful. I have a book on Gasoline Alley, collecting the early years of that comic strip when it was truly an art form. The artist was incredible. Not at all the Gasoline Alley you saw in the later years of newspapers. I have a lot of the art gallery editions that were done by Graffiti Design, these great big 11 by 17 or 12 by 18 size books. Graffiti Designs did a fantastic job of making these beautiful scans of original art to present things like work by Kelly Jones and Frank Miller.
And Terry Moore.
Oh, and Terry Moore. There's one on us. So yeah, those are beautiful. Those are incredible things to have on your shelf. But you need to have a strong shelf because these things are heavy. I mean, each one of those books probably weighs 20 pounds. And when you lay them out, you need a lot of room. So they're beautiful. Yeah, I have a lot of good treasures up there on the bookshelf. Maybe we should do a shelf episode sometime.
Maybe we'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that's it for today. You guys send your questions to me at mail@abstractstudiocomics.com so that I can ask Terry these questions. As you can see, he really does not know what I'm going to ask him.
No, it's a surprise.
And you guys have a good week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. Bye.